The Simpsons may have conquered the world, but they started life as just a tiny gleam in the mind of one offbeat comic strip artist, Matt Groening. The mischievous, yellow-skinned, spiky-haired Bart first drew breath back in 1986. Before The Simpsons walked the earth, Matt's only other taste of success had been as the creator of an underground comic strip, Life in Hell. But he always knew that one day television would come calling.
I was waiting, when is Hollywood going to call me up? Come on, I'm doing this weekly comic strip, and finally, ring, 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 it's James L. Brooks, who loves my strip Life in Hell, and he gives me my first job on the Tracy Ullman Show doing animation. And he said, you can do whatever you want.
We were looking for, we call them bumpers, which go between the acts, and we decided nobody ever tried to make them entertaining, so we tried to make them entertaining. And I had a cartoon that I'd gotten as a gift from somebody that was Matt's cartoon, The Los Angeles Way of Death, the way that people die in Los Angeles, California. And I had remembered this because it was my first exposure to Matt, so we called him in.
Well, The Simpsons really began in the 15 minutes that I had to prepare for a meeting with Jim Brooks to present him with my ideas. I was originally going to do my Life in Hell characters in animated form, and then at the last moment I got scared. I thought, what if this fails miserably? I'll have ruined my characters, I'll go crawling back to my weekly comic strip. So I decided to make up new characters on the spot, hence The Simpsons, named after my own family. I wasn't particularly feeling creative in that 15 minutes, so I quickly named them after my own family. I do have a father named Homer, a mother named Margaret. Marge is close. I thought Marge was a slightly funnier name, and I have two younger sisters, Lisa and Maggie. I thought if I made the main kid Matt, that would be a little too obvious, so I changed him to Bart. If you want to know why the early Simpsons on the Tracy Ullman Show look so weird, it's because I didn't know what I was doing. I just would draw little sketches to give to the animators. I thought they were going to clean them up and make them look like professional cartoons. It turns out that all they were doing was tracing my drawings.
They may not have looked like any other cartoon, but The Simpsons proved so popular that Fox took a leap into the void and gave Matt his very own full-length show.
To air The Simpsons, Fox had to commit $10 million to produce 13 episodes before they saw a single one. And then again, it was people producing it who had never done a show, an animated show, half an hour long. All that had been done was the shorts.
Fox finally, got the idea that this would make a good series, but they were a little hesitant at first because primetime animation was something that hadn't been seen on American television for about a generation.
Animation was just totally dead on primetime. Nothing had succeeded since the Flintstones 20 years earlier. And what encouraged me about the show was that it was James Brooks and Sam Simon, Matt Groening were really talented. The stories that they were already working out seemed hilarious, and the characters were great. The shorts were really funny. So I thought, if this gets on the air, I think it actually could turn a few heads.
And so by Christmas 1989, the first ever episode of The Simpsons was broadcast. And it turned more than a few heads.
Here was something that was smart and funny and hip and original and reminded us that something that's really family entertainment will appeal to the least sophisticated member of the audience and the most sophisticated member of the audience on different levels.
This was just what the upstart Fox network needed, a completely unexpected hit. It put them on the map, as well as creating a bonanza for the spin-off industry.
One of the most delightful aspects of Simpsons mania in the early 1990s was how many different groups appropriated Bart Simpson. There were black Bart t-shirts. There was a t-shirt with Bart shaking hands with Nelson Mandela. There were Irish Bart t-shirts. There were Mexican Bart t-shirts. There were vegetarian Bart t-shirts that said, "Don't eat a cow, man." There were pro-Gulf War t-shirts with Bart standing on Saddam Hussein's head. There were anti-war t-shirts with Bart protesting the war. It was amazing how many people could take this cute little guy and make him their own.
Perfecto! Everybody smile. I'm going to set the automatic timer.
This is David Silverman.
This is Matt Groening.
Okay, so this is the animatic. These are the main animation sketches shot in a pencil test. And based on the storyboards, we do these layouts. The background and the key animation poses. And then the in-betweens are done and it's painted. And here's the finished work. Also sweetened with sound effects and music. For some scenes we did actually more than just a couple poses. For this scene here we did a couple poses, and the other one we did more full animation. And here are just sort of the key frames of him getting punched. And then the in-betweens are done. Looks pretty painful.
Well, I think what we learned was that more pain equals more funny.
Exactly.
That's our little rule.
More pain, more laugh gains. So this was a fairly, just more or less walking and being dragged and talking, so there wasn't a lot of animation poses done for it.
Right, guys?
Here because of the perspective, we want to get that right.
Again, tomorrow, Simpson. Is 3:15 good for you?
And actually, I think back then we did a certain amount of scenes we fully animated. About a fourth of it we tried to animate stateside, but then we decided rather than spend all the time on the animation, we would spend more time on all the layouts and have more poses per layout scene and basically flesh out the show overall as opposed to just specific scenes. Give more overall consistency.
Were those characters Weasel number 1 and Weasel number 2?
Yes. Yes, they haven't showed up anymore, have they?
Yeah, I haven't seen them in a while.
No.
Oh man, that guy's tough to love.
Spike-haired, bug-eyed Bart Simpson, age 10, is the show star and family brat.
Whoa, look at this place. What a dump.
He is rude, mischievous, and often in hot water.
He sent a note from school.
What did you do this time, you little hoodlum? Whoop, get out of the way!
I didn't do it. Nobody saw me do it. There's no way they can prove anything.
This time, it is Bart's wisecracking T-shirts that are in trouble. This one has been expelled from some schools for its profanity. Another, underachiever and proud of it, has been kicked out of classes from Orange, California to Fremont, Ohio, where Lutz Elementary School was the first to ban Bart. Around school, where tamer Simpson fashions are still allowed, reaction to the T-shirt tempest is mixed.
It's just a cartoon, and we won't act like Bart Simpson. If you're an underachiever, you shouldn't be proud of it.
The Simpsons network, Fox TV, will say only that Bart respects elementary school principals, even the ones who have nothing better to do than tell kids what to wear.
Don't have a cow, Dad. The sad truth is, all families are like us.
And the Simpsons, even Bart, are not necessarily a bad influence on kids, according to some psychologists.
This is something that they can grab onto and identify with. If Bart's having problems and making it and doing okay, maybe I can make it and do all right, too.
J.C. Penney's, the biggest Simpson merchandiser, has decided not to reorder the shirts that some schools have banned. But with a variety of Simpson items selling at the rate of 1 million per week, educators can't keep Bart out of school. Chris Bury, ABC News, Fremont, Ohio.